We got a brand new mod for our Arcade 1-Up countercades. You're looking at two simple, basic countercades, a Marvel Superheroes and NBA Jam. There's also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat 2, all two-player countercades, depending on if you have any of them or you came across any of these great sales. There's a mod you can do that we can transform our basic countercade into a mini arcade, and that's a stand from G.I. Joe Gaming. And I'm going to do the NBA Jam, and we're going to transform this. This is going to look unbelievable, next level stuff. And hot off the press, G.I. Joe Gaming's newest product, our basic countercade stand. Now there are 3 different models. You can get the basic, that's just going to have black on the side. There is a deluxe that will have its own artwork, similar to like the game lineup you'll see on the bottom of Marvel Superheroes. Or the Pro, which will be continued artwork from the bottom all the way up on top of either countercade. And there is a model for each of the 4 two-player countercades. We went with NBA Jam. You can see that orange T molding. This is going to be an identical color match to that NBA Jam. Take a look at that molded coin door and get this. They both light up. Something else I want to point out are these holes you're seeing on that MDF board. You know that the volume, the speaker, is on the bottom side of these two-player countercades. Mortal Kombat 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NBA Jam, and Marvel Superheroes. And I've complained in the past that the volume doesn't really get as loud as I'd like it on all the way up to 15. I mean, you can hear it fine, but the further back you get, it doesn't pump out a lot of noise. That's where it changes with these holes. The way it sits in here, that noise will come through here and shoot out the front. You're really going to hear more volume. You can see on how that countercade's going to sit in here, how it slants in there. No matter how much you shake it and you're playing, it's going to be sturdy. It's not going to fall out of here, rest assured. And you can take it in and out anytime you want. There's nothing you're screwing down, and there's no assembly with this. I didn't mention that out of the box, there's nothing you really got to do except plug in one thing on the back. Everything else is done depending on if you got any artwork. But the way this is going to sit in here, it's going to be perfect, very playable, and very sturdy. On the back side, there's just one little adapter here for that power source going in, which is going to light up the coin door, and it's all going to power on with one simple switch. And if you've ever seen those rubber feet underneath your countercade, they're going to look identical to the same rubber feet we see underneath the stand we get from G.I. Joe Gaming. And there's only one thing we really need to do, and that's plug in the splitter that Joel sends with us that plugs in to your main power source. And the splitter, one goes in the back side of your stand, and the other just plugs right in the back side of your power source going into your countercade, and it's already on the stand. And you can see how nice it sits. You see those rubber feet? It sits in there flat. It's all one piece. It's sturdy. It shakes along with that MVSX stand that it's sitting on, but I mean, it's perfect. And you can just see, I mean, look at that orange. It's identical color match. So depending on what style you go for, if it's the blue, the green, or the red, or the orange, it's all gonna match. Now, as soon as you do plug in the stand and it's going into the wall, you see my Christmas Story outlet over here. These will always stay lit, so there's no switch to turn them on or off. You'll have to physically unplug it, but it is a nice look. You know, you walk into a dark room and you see those red lights on. It makes you think you're walking up to a real arcade machine, because technically you kind of are. I mean, look at this. This thing is, I mean, just take this in for a second. We haven't even turned it on. Doesn't it look like a mini arcade? Now, you do have that option where you can go with those graphics. If this is the deluxe, you're going to have its own artwork on the bottom that will have the 3 games that it comes with: NBA Jam Tournament Edition, NBA Jam, and NBA Jam Hang Time. Or you can go with the Pro, and it will be one full piece artwork. So that NBA Jam logo will be further down, and it will actually look like it's one piece. Standard height for all Arcade 1-Up countercades are 16 inches high, and that just depends on how comfortable you are playing on what surface. If it's a desk, a counter, or even an iArcade stand, it does matter and you want to be comfortable. This stand actually is high enough that playing this is about the level of an actual 3/4 scale arcade. But with using the MVSX stand, it's a lot lower, and it wasn't too comfortable playing, and that's why I wanted to pick up this stand from G.I. Joe. It's now a lot higher. I mean, you got to factor that in, and nothing wrong with that. It's always better to be bigger. But it does look like a real arcade is sitting on that MVSX stand. We went from 16 inches to 29 inches tall. I mean, this is gonna be a lot bigger than what you're used to if you've been playing that countercade for a while. And we haven't turned it on yet, but we do have both plugged in, the stand and the countercade going into one. So we flip that switch, everything's gonna work fine. You see the marquee just lit up, it's loading. Those coin doors are on. I will show you how it looks coming into a dark room, how cool it is seeing those coin doors always on. And look at that, it's like walking into a real arcade room. There's nothing better than light up coin doors. I mean, it's just something we didn't get right away from Arcade 1-Up, and now if they do have them, it's like expected. Like every time we buy a deluxe per se or an XL, it should have the light ups. And if it doesn't, you know, we're always modding them. There's nothing we have to do here. All we have to do is purchase this from G.I. Joe, decide if you want any extra graphics, and you're getting a great stand with awesome light up coin doors. Not only are you getting a great stand for your countercade, but you're getting improved speaker holes here, so that sound that's coming out the bottom, not getting muffled, is now coming right at you. So when you're standing in front of your playing, you're gonna get the full effect of that volume, and it's gonna be a lot louder. We'll crank this up to 15 and you'll see what I'm talking about. So going all the way up to 15, the sound is coming right out the front. So when we're standing playing in front of here, we're getting the full effect versus the sound going down on a flat surface and kind of getting muffled. Instead of swapping out your speaker, these holes, it's gonna be a huge improvement, and you're really gonna notice a difference. If you decide to pick up the Deluxe or the Pro model, you will get this extra box from G.I. Joe Gaming, and it's gonna have some tools in here. Everything you need will be inside, allowing you to put all that artwork desirable on your stand and countercade. And right inside of the box, you're gonna see a G.I. Joe logo, an Average American Dad. You can put this in anything you want. It's a nice touch we got from Joel. A squeegee, I'm gonna call it a squeegee. It's got a nice carpet end, and that's just to go over the artwork. As you apply that decal, get all that excess air bubble off. And an X-Acto knife, because there will be some leftovers, and this will just trim everything along the edges, and it'll look pretty sharp, along with some other decals. So everything you need will be inside this box, along with directions if you decide to go with that artwork. But if you don't, this is how it's gonna look. It's just gonna have the black base, and you're not gonna mess with any of the original artwork that came on any of your countercades of the stand that you went with. I'll have a link in the description to check out G.I. Joe Gaming. Look at all the models. He's got one for Mortal Kombat 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Marvel Superheroes, and NBA Jam. Really something really cool to look at. And in the future, you get the stand now, there's gonna be an additional piece that will just extend all the way down. So you're gonna have your countercade, your stand, and then the full-size base. And if you want something to really resemble an arcade, you can do that. And there's nothing you're gonna have to do except just stack them on top of each other. Really exciting, cool products coming from G.I. Joe. It's definitely a must for your countercades. I couldn't imagine playing this any other way now. More good things to come from G.I. Joe Gaming. He will have stands for one-player countercades, but right now the two-player countercades, you can just see how much better it is with that stand. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. G.I. Joe, an Average American Dad with arcade building action. Best way to walk into a room.